Hello, my name is Tim Drafs, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Web Information Systems group at TU Delft. And I'm here to present our paper on comprehensive viewpoint representations. Increasing amounts of research in human information interaction now concern debated topics. In areas such as web search or social media, we are interested in how debated topics such as veganism, abortion, upcoming elections are discussed, what viewpoints users are exposed to, and how users are influenced by the content they find on these platforms. And a crucial element in this work is the viewpoint representation or the viewpoint labels that we assign to documents. To give a quick example, consider this search result list related to the debated topic of whether pineapple belongs on pizza. And suppose that we now wish to analyze the viewpoint diversity in this search result list. What we need to do is we need to assign a label to each search result that captures the viewpoint it expresses with respect to the debated topic. And typically how this is done is by assigning viewpoint labels in a ternary format, meaning there are three different categories, such as pro, neutral, and con, or in favor, neutral, and against. And this simple taxonomy has quite a few advantages. These labels are quite easy to obtain via crowdsourcing or automatic stance detection methods, and it's also comparatively easy to compute metrics from them or pass them into, for instance, re-ranking algorithms. However, we argue that viewpoints are in reality much richer than what these simple taxonomies sometimes seem to suggest, and that reducing this latent richness of viewpoints to just three simple categories that roughly indicate the stance of each document greatly limits the depth of research and also practical applications in this context. In particular, we identified two different limitations. The first one is that these labels contain very little nuance, so we don't know to what degree a document opposes or supports a debated topic. And the second limitation is that we are missing the underlying reasons, the perspectives. We don't know why a document or a user is supporting or opposing a particular topic. To overcome these limitations, in this paper, we propose a novel viewpoint label for documents in human information interaction, research, or practical applications. This viewpoint label has two different dimensions. The first one is stance. This is similar to the ternary viewpoint labels I just talked about, but we suggest, in line with earlier work we conducted on this topic, to represent stances not on 3-level scales, but on 7-point scales, analogous to a 7-point Likert scale, ranging from strongly opposing to strongly supporting a topic. So for instance, if we have this statement here, pineapple on pizza is the most scandalous thing. It doesn't taste good, but it's also just wrong. This is arguably quite a strongly opposing statement. So in this case, we could attach a -3, so a strongly opposing stance label. The second dimension is what we call the logic or logic of evaluation. This is a concept that we borrow from communication science, where 7 of these logics of evaluation have so far been identified. And each of them represents a certain fundamental reason for why someone might oppose or support something. And each logic is defined by the maxim it aspires to. So for instance, the functional logic aspires to what works, meaning that if I say that pineapple on pizza is not a good idea because it doesn't taste good, in other words, it doesn't fulfill its purpose, it doesn't work, then I'm using a functional logic to argue against the concept of putting pineapple on pizza. And in this way, each of the 7 logics has certain example words or indicators that we can use to systematically analyze text and identify, rough, in a very rough sense, the underlying reasons behind a stance that is expressed in a document. If we look at our example statement here, we find a couple of these indicators: scandalous, it doesn't taste good, it's just wrong. And based on that, based on these different arguments, we can assign 3 different logics of evaluation. And together with the stance label, these logics then make the viewpoint label that we propose. In our paper, we, of course, in more detail, motivate and describe this viewpoint label and its applications. And we describe a crowdsourcing study where we collected our novel viewpoint label for 169 tweets on 3 different debated topics. And we also propose some guidelines for future work that wants to crowdsource the viewpoint label that we propose. Additionally, we conduct a viewpoint diversity analysis where we showcase what insights can be gained from using our proposed viewpoint label, and a user study where we show users sets of tweets that are diversified either based on the ternary viewpoint labels or based on our viewpoint labels. And we show that our viewpoint label can be used for more meaningful diversity analyses, but also diversification approaches. As for future work, we aim to develop methods to obtain these viewpoint labels automatically so that we don't have to use crowdsourcing anymore. And we will look into new ways of analyzing online content. So, for example, to analyze the viewpoint diversity in search results based on our novel label. In any case, we hope that our work inspires researchers and practitioners to represent viewpoints on debated topics in a more comprehensive way, and therefore improve their research designs and the practical applications they develop. Thank you very much.